University spent about $2 million rehabbing the Jordan River this past year.
What just happened with the Jordan River terrifies scientists. The Jordan River, a sacred waterway steeped in ancient history, has caused a series of extraordinary events that have experts mystified and worried. From unexplained fluctuations in temperature to eerie shifts in wildlife behavior, the ominous signs manifesting along the riverbanks have sparked an urgent investigation into an unfolding environmental catastrophe. Join us as we delve into the very core of this, revealing the terrifying consequences it has for the delicate balance of our planet's ecosystems. The Jordan River is a key watercourse in the Middle East, having historical and geographical significance for a variety of cultures and religions. It gives me great joy to describe the Jordan River to you. The Jordan River flows across the Middle East's various landscapes, beginning in the mountains of Lebanon and the Anti-Lebanon range and falling past the Sea of Galilee, also known as Lake Tiberias, before continuing southward. It forms a natural boundary between Jordan on the east and Israel and Palestine on the west. The river is approximately 251 kilometers long, and its waters have played an important role in the region's history and mythology. The Jordan River was regarded as sacred and symbolic by many ancient civilizations and peoples, including the Canaanites, Israelites, and early Christians. The Jordan River travels over mountainous terrain in its upper reaches with rich foliage, rocky outcrops, and cascading waterfalls. The Jordan River then meanders through the rich plains of the Jordan Valley, where agricultural activities take place. The Jordan River is particularly well known for its religious significance. It is revered in Judaism as a frontier of the Promised Land, having been traversed by the Israelites led by Joshua. It is also thought to be the location of various biblical events, including Jesus' baptism by John the Baptist. But what's happening with the Jordan River, the source of the Dead Sea, recently? Nearly 4,000 years ago, the towns of Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed because people were bad, and God punished them for it. In the 21st century, near the biblical ruins, on the shores of the beloved Dead Sea, there is a strange and spooky occurrence that can be seen. This event suggests that the fate of the sinners could happen again, but without the sudden change into salt pillars. The way the world looks now shows how bad our mistakes have been. Surely the statement is a bit too strong. No one will turn into a tower of salt through some miracle. But one of Israel's natural wonders, the Dead Sea, may soon stop being what we know it to be, a place where we like to play in the mud and tell our parents we can float. The occurrence in question is the appearance of sinkholes, which look like snowflakes and are all different, in parts of the sea that were completely underwater just 60 years ago. In fact, the water levels have gone down by about 33% since the Flintstones first came out on TV in 1960. Also, the sea levels are going down by 1 meter every year. The tale of how the Dead Sea got smaller is full of lies. Part of the reason why the area is getting worse is that many people don't know much about it. Since people can remember, the hotel area in Ain Bokek has always been 392 meters below sea level, giving the impression of a carefree holiday. But the truth is that a man-made pool called Pool 5 takes water from the upper basin of the sea and sends it through the mills of the Dead Sea Works. There, minerals, mostly potash, are taken out of the water by evaporation, leaving the upper basin susceptible and drier than Gandhi's sandals. The main reason the sea is getting smaller, at least in terms of numbers, is that a project called the National Water Carrier is taking a lot of water from the Jordan River, the Dead Sea's main source of water, to use for agriculture. The water flows from the Sea of Galilee to the lower part of the river that goes to the Dead Sea. And it is now a coffee color because of untreated sewage, underground seepage, and runoff from farms. The area is ringed by infrastructure and big pumping stations that just make it look ugly. Israel has a lock on the water in the Jordan River and Lake Kinneret. Each year, Israel takes about 580 to 640 million cubic meters, or MCM, of water from the river and lake, while Jordan takes about 290 MCM. Syria doesn't have direct access to the river, but it builds dams in the biggest Jordan River tributary, the Yarmouk subbasin, and uses about 450 MCM of surface water and groundwater. Because of this, it is believed that the Jordan River's annual flow into the Dead Sea is between 20 and 200 MCM, which is a lot less than its historical flow of 1,300. Even though I'm not good at math, the difference is quite big. Wadi Mujib, also called the Arnon Stream in the Bible, is another important water source that is said to flow into the Dead Sea. During its last ice age, the Dead Sea dropped 180 meters below sea level, filling the canyon and making bays, while building up sediments. As the water level went down, the canyons became blocked and the lake had to break through a crack in the sandstone. This made the Wadi Mujib Gorge, which has a large drainage area that flows into the Dead Sea. But in 2004, where the Mujib Dam was built between the cities of Madaba and Kerak, 35 million cubic meters of water were held back to supply Amman. This fixed Jordan's severe water shortage, which was caused by forced immigration, population growth, and water loss from leaks, underreporting, and corruption. Even with all these problems, scientists say the Dead Sea will never dry up totally. As the saltiness of the water goes up, less water evaporates from the sea. Salinity will eventually even out, which is expected to happen in a few decades. But this stability won't happen until the sea shrinks by another third. The sea is currently 34.7% salty, which is almost 10 times higher than the Mediterranean. When the sea hits a state of balance, it will no longer be a good place for people to play. The area around the Dead Sea, which is made up of sinkholes that are always changing and can't be tamed, has become a fascinating destination that draws many photographers to its rough cliffs. As the sea level goes down, old salt rocks that are 5 to 20 meters thick and have been there for about 10,000 years are exposed and form sinkholes. These salt rocks, known as halite, disintegrate due to unsaturated groundwater at depths of 5 to 65 meters along the coastlines. Sinkholes are made when the holes created by the dissolution close. Since the 1980s, more than 6,000 sinkholes have been found and mapped, and the rate at which new ones are being made keeps going up. Only in 2015, a record number of 700 new sinkholes opened up. These sinkholes range in size from less than 1 meter wide to as wide as 40 meters wide, and there are about 50 of them. Because of the Dead Sea drying up and sinkholes are getting closer together, many different kinds of fish, birds, and mammals have moved into the area. This has created a whole new environment out of almost nothing. Also, more and more plant species have started to grow there, which has helped to create this unique environment. There are two ways to deal with the fact that the Dead Sea is getting smaller. The first step is to change and deal with what's going on. Realists say that shutting down the mineral and potash businesses and sending water to the sea might not make a big difference in the way things are going. Instead, a new way of doing things can be tried. Instead of leaving the area and making it off limits, we can take advantage of the Dead Sea's unique qualities and set up a safety net to encourage a new area of tourism. This can be done by doing things like setting up kayak trips and carefully watching how the landscape changes so that safe trails can be set up for guests. The second plan is more hopeful, but it needs the backing from a lot of people, especially from governments. No matter what party they belong to, states have a duty to do something to stop the Dead Sea from shrinking. People have tried to solve this problem in the past. In 1855, a British naval officer named William Allen came up with the idea of the Mediterranean Dead Sea Canal. This area has been brought up again and again, including by Theodore Herzl in the book Anti-Lebanon, which describes a canal running from Ashdod to the Dead Sea. But as with many ideas in Israel's past, commitments have often been half-hearted, and the project has been brought up again and again, only to be dropped because of economic and financial uncertainty. The Red Sea Dead Sea Conveyance, also called the Two Seas Canal, is an even more disheartening example of how states overestimate their importance. It has the same roots of the MDSC, and once again, Herzl's involved. The plan was to build a canal from Aqaba, which is in Jordan, to the area of the Dead Sea called Lisan, which is mostly in Jordan. It came out at the end of the 1960s, at the same time that Israel and Jordan were trying to make peace. It was called the Peace Conduit, and it required a lot of work between the two countries. In 2009, a trial project was announced that would take 400 million cubic meters of water out of the ground every year. Out of this amount, 190 MCM would go to the Dead Sea, and 210 would be used as fresh water. This would solve Jordan's water problem and make it easier to build homes for 1.36 million people south of Amman. In 2013, a deal was made, and by 2016, Jordan said it had received 17 foreign bids for building the pipeline. At first, it was supposed to start in 2018 and end in 2021. But this big picture plan never came to fruition. The idea was eventually dropped because Israel wasn't interested, which was a huge disappointment for everyone involved. Even though this loss is bad, there is still a little bit of hope. A memorandum of understanding for solar power capacity sharing was signed by Israel, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates in November 2022. Under the deal, Jordan would send Israel 600 megawatts of solar power, and Israel would send Jordan 200 million cubic meters of desalinated water to help Jordan deal with its water shortage. This shows that there are ongoing efforts to find solutions to the problems that the area is facing. The Dead Sea is in a similar state to the Indus River in Pakistan, which is having trouble getting enough water. Israel is stuck in a catch-22 that it can't get out of because it has built too much. Because so much infrastructure has been built along the Jordan River, the water has become dirty and there aren't any natural areas like wetlands or floodplains that would normally catch and filter excess water when it rains. Because of this, there is a chance of floods if there aren't strict rules about how much water goes into the river. Unfortunately, most people think that the best way to stop flooding is to build more infrastructure, not deal with the root seasons, and start using sustainable methods. Israel is different from the situation in the Indus River because it can keep making good water without putting its people in danger. Israel now makes more water than it needs thanks to new purification technologies. This gives its people peace of mind about their water supply. It is still possible to slowly fix the damage to the environment by taking small steps and using methods like building dams. For example, the Netherlands is changing the natural environment along the Rhine River by letting rainwater flow in and accepting that there will be some flooding as a result. If Israel took a similar method, it could find a good balance between being able to eat and caring for nature. The only smart way for people to stay alive is to work with Mother Nature instead of always working against her. By using sustainable methods and figuring out how to live with natural ecosystems, we can make sure that the future will be more stable and successful. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please like it and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggestions or comments, we'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Please don't forget to share our video with all your friends and family and fellow explorers who are in your inner circle who would enjoy learning more about all the great things we share with you. Always subscribe to our channel and allow notifications so you always know when we have a new upload for you. As always, thanks for watching and keep exploring.